How are you, learners? So today in this video we're going to be answering these questions 1 up to question 4 from November 2018 paper 1 commerce. So firstly, taking a look at question 1 here, the question reads, goods required for personal use are called, and we do have these 4 answers here, and among these 4 answers we are supposed to eliminate the correct answer. That means all the 3 answers are wrong or are close to the answer, but we have to find the correct answer. So goods required for personal use are called: A, we've got agriculture goods; B, we've got capital goods; C, we've got consumer goods; D, we've producer goods. So in order to find the correct answer, we have to know all these types of goods. So starting off with agriculture goods, these are goods or raw materials produced from farming or agriculture. Take it for example, we have got seeds from crops. So agriculture goods are totally wrong because these are raw materials. Some of them may not be goods yet. Now we move on to capital goods. Capital goods, these are goods used to produce other goods. Take it for example, we've got machinery. So capital goods are wrong. Why? Because the question wants goods required for personal use, not goods used to produce other goods. Now we go on to consumer goods. Consumer goods, these are goods used by the consumers or goods that are produced to satisfy human needs and wants. So this might be the answer, but first, let's take a look at producer goods. Producer goods, these are wrong. Why? Because producer goods are just like capital goods. They are goods used to produce other goods. So the correct answer here was C. So C is going to be the correct answer. Now we go on the next question, which reads, which are the 3 stages of production? So on this question, we are supposed to be knowing the stages of production, which are primary production, secondary production, and the last one, tertiary production. But the answers, they are given in this way. The first answer is starting with extracting, manufacturing, and distribution. So in other words, the answers are given on the processes of the stages of production. So what we are supposed to be knowing here is, on the first stage of production, which is primary production, what takes place? So on the first stage of production, which is primary, it involves the extraction of raw materials and minerals from the ground. And the businesses in the primary production are farming, fishing, etc. So the correct answer for the first stage of production is to start with extracting. So we've got A and B, which are all starting with extracting. Then we go on the second stage of production, which involves the manufacturing of raw materials into finished goods and semi-finished goods. So on the second stage of production, the answer has to be about manufacturing. The process which is involved on the second stage of production is transforming raw materials into finished goods and semi-finished goods. And the last stage of production, which is tertiary production, it deals with the distribution of finished goods. So the answer there was A, because it is showing the correct steps of the stages of production, which is for primary production, or at the primary level we'll be extracting raw materials, then on the secondary level we'll be manufacturing the raw materials, then on the tertiary production we are now distributing the raw material. So this was the correct answer. So B was wrong. Why? Because it started with extracting, then it's going with constructing, then it's going with exporting. So on C, it was also wrong because it's starting with the distribution, which is supposed to be the final stage. Then D was wrong as well because it's starting with the manufacturing when it is supposed to be starting with extracting. So B, C, and D were wrong. So the correct answer was A. Now moving on to question 3, it reads, which is a feature of specialization? So here we do have a keyword, which is specialization. And specialization is when labor is being divided and workers have to focus on the parts where they are good at. Take it for example, at a school, a teacher can be only teaching mathematics because he is good in mathematics, and other teachers will be teaching combined science and even English. Why? Because they will be good at those subjects. So specialization, a worker will be focusing on the parts or the subjects that he is good at. So which is a feature of specialization? For part A, we've got 1 worker is required. This one, I'm gonna say it's wrong, because a specialization, it doesn't just have to be 1 worker. It can be 2 workers, it can be 10 workers, it can be a department of workers. So this one is wrong. Then you go on the next one, high output of products, and which might be correct. But let's take a look at other answers. High cost of production, this one is wrong. Why? Because when a worker is doing what he is good at, there is going to be low production costs. Why? Because there are going to be low shortages and low wastage of materials, and the goods produced are going to be of high quality, so they are actually going to be low cost of production. So this one was wrong. Then the last one, more labor is required, which is wrong. So the correct answer here is going to be B, high output of products. Now moving on to question 4, it reads, who provides an indirect service? And here we have to know what are indirect service. So an indirect service is an intangible act done not for personal consumption. What I'm trying to say is it is a service which is done behind the scenes. It is done to support an organization or a client without face-to-face interaction. So that is the type of service that we want to find among the answers. So for part A, we have got an advertiser, which might be the answer here, because it is part of an indirect service. Okay, let's also read the other answers. We also have a lawyer. A lawyer is a direct service. Why? Because there is face-to-face interaction with the client. Then a musician is also wrong. Why? Because there is also face-to-face interaction with the client as well. Then a teacher is very, very wrong, because a teacher will be teaching the client, so there is face-to-face interaction with the client. So the best answer was an advertiser, because an advertiser sometimes may not even face the clients, but may face the congregation of the clients. So the correct answer was A right there. And this is the end of the video. Until we meet again.